What is going on, traders, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm glad to have you. Now in this video, I'm going to be going over my watch list for the trading week of July 18th, 2022. Let's get to it. Alright, so the catalyst, not much going on when it comes to meetings, but we do have some pretty big companies reporting earnings this week. Let's go ahead and take a look at them. Alright, as you can see, we got a full slate this week. We got a continuation from the banks, and we got a few tech companies reporting. Now the ones that I'm going to be watching is Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, IBM, ASML, and the biggest movers of the week in my opinion, NetFlix and Tesla. Let's go ahead and get started with the watch list. Alright, let's start off with a couple of banks. First one up, Goldman Sachs, ticker symbol GS. Now here I have it pulled up on the weekly chart here. And Goldman reports earnings before the market opens on Monday. So here are the levels that I'm going to be watching. First up, the bullish scenario. Right now they're sitting around $294. Now if they have good earnings and good forward guidance and they can stay above this $293 level, the first level that I'm looking for to test is around $298. If they can get through that level, the next level that I'm looking at is around $304 to the upside. Now in the bearish scenario, if they miss or they have negative forward guidance and they cannot stay above this $293 level, the first level that I'm looking for to test is all the way down to $281. All right. Now I have another level on here of $278, okay? And I have it on here because it tested this level 3 times in the last 5 weeks, okay? So I'm going to show you the significance of this level around $298, okay? So first off, let's zoom out. Let's get rid of all of these drawings on here. And I'm going to use the Fibonacci retracements, okay? So I'm going to go from the pandemic lows and use the Fibonacci retracements to go from that low all the way to that all-time high of around $426. And you can see that from the all-time high, it's sold off almost exactly 50%, and it's been bouncing off that level. Now there are other banks that have come all the way down or really close to 50% level or up here somewhere. That's banks like Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, American Express, Regions Bank, and Discover. All of them have sold off less than 50%. They either got to it and bounced or sold off less than 50%. Now, the reason I'm telling you that is because there are other banks that we'll talk about in a minute that have sold off past 50% and came down and tested around the 61.8% level, okay? Now, if Goldman reports bad earnings and they come down and they cannot hold this $278 level, the first level that I'm looking for it to come test is probably the 200-week moving average. Right now it's sitting around $294 or so. And if it can't hold that, I'm looking for it to come down and test this 61.8 level. And right now it's sitting around $243. And that's what other banks have done so far, okay? Now that won't all happen in 1 week, but over time it's possible it could continue to drop all the way down to this 618 level, okay? So keep all of these levels in mind and on your watch list, and let's see what happens. All right, up next is Bank of America, ticker symbol BAC. Now here I have it pulled up on the weekly chart, as you can see here. And they also report earnings before the market opens on Monday. Now, here are the levels that I'm watching. First off, the bullish scenario. They're sitting around $32.25 right now. And if they can stay above this level and they have good numbers and good guidance, I'm looking for it to run all the way up to around $35. Now, the bearish scenario, if they miss or they have bad guidance and they cannot hold this $32.25 level, I'm looking for it to come all the way down to around $30. If it can't hold this level, I'm looking for it to get into this consolidation range right here. And if I zoom out, you can see from around January of 2019, it's bounced around in this level right here with a low of around $26, okay? Now let's zoom back in again. I see this level around $30. I'm going to show you what I showed you with Goldman Sachs. First thing I'm going to do is go ahead and clear all of these drawings off of here, and I'm going to retrace from their pandemic lows all the way to their all-time highs around $50 right here. And you can see that it sold off 61.8% from its all-time high, and it bounced off around this level right here. And what I showed you with Goldman Sachs, they've sold off to around the 50% level. Okay, so it's possible that they could also break through this level and come down and test the 61.8% level to the downside. Right now, there are other banks that are sitting and testing around the 61.8 level, sell-off level, like JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, and Citigroup. They're all down here, okay, trying to bounce off of it. Okay, so keep all of these levels on your watch list, and let's see what happens. All right, up next is International Business Machines, ticker symbol IBM. Now here I have it pulled up on the daily chart. Now even though IBM reports earnings after the market closes on Monday, I'm not really interested in that. Looking at the levels that has been ranging between $115 and $145. Now, some of you may remember that we did paper trade this one when it got up to the top of this channel, and we ended up making a couple of dollars on that paper trade when it came down after testing. So what I'm looking for, if they do beat and then it runs up and tests around $145 and cannot get above it and gets rejected back down again, I will buy a put or two, maybe a 2 or 3 months out for the $120 or the $115 level, and just let it ride. And when I get to around 100% on it, I'll go ahead and sell it. So just keep these levels in mind, and let's just see what happens with this one. All right. All right, up next is ASML Holdings, ticker symbol ASML. Now here I have it pulled up on the weekly chart here. And this company, if you're not familiar, makes the machines that other companies use to make semiconductors. And I found out about this company because a few weeks back, the US government asked this company to stop selling their technology to China so they won't make as many chips, and then the United States could compete on the semiconductor stage, globally. Okay, now however you feel about that request, the market did not like that, and this big red candle right here, it sold off the stock from around $515 all the way down to $450. It got even lower the next week, all the way down to around $400, but you can see it bought back up for the last 2 weeks. Now with their earnings coming up, I have never traded this one, so I'm not going to play it, but I am going to be watching to see if this one can run up to around $525 again with good earnings. Okay, I also won't be playing this one because if you look at the options on this one, the bid ask is so wide on these, so you'll be at the mercy of all the market makers. Okay, you'll be losing before you start if it goes against you. So just keep this one on your watch list, and let's just see what happens with this one, and maybe next earnings we'll be able to play it. All right. All right, up next is the QQQ, the index that tracks the tech sector. And here I have it pulled up on the daily chart here, and I wanted to show you this trend line that has been respecting. Okay, you can see that it'll bounce off this trend line and test this gap up here, get rejected, test it again, get rejected, and right now it's possible that early in the week the QQQ can get all the way up to around $295. If it gets in this gap, it can get really close to around $300. Okay, and that'll be fantastic for NetFlix, for it to run all the way up and possibly have really cheap puts for its ride right back down. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at NetFlix. All right, and the last one we're going to be looking at is NetFlix, ticker symbol NFLX. Now here I have it pulled up on the weekly chart here. Now if you're not aware, right now Netflix is sitting at $189, but back in November of last year it was $700. And over the course of 2 earnings, it has lost so much market share. Okay, from the previous earnings, or the first earnings of this year, it went from around $600 to $390 in 3 weeks. And the next earnings, it went from around $350 all the way down to $185 in 2 weeks. And right now it's been consolidating between $161 and $206 for around the last 8 weeks or so. Now, seeing as though the QQQ looks bullish for the first part of the week, which would be fantastic, that would affect NetFlix and help it run up, probably test around $206 and possibly get as high as around $250 before their earnings. That would be fantastic, because if it does and they have bad earnings and this thing drops another $100, that would be a fantastic put to the downside. And if you're into lottos, that could be a nice lotto play. But like I said, you don't know where this is going to go, but it's possible from their last 2 earnings that this thing can drop $200 or even $100. Okay, now if I look at the volume profile for Netflix to see where the majority of the buys were, you can see it's around $3.85. So it's plenty of owners way down here. There's some people upside down up here, but a lot of owners are down here. Okay, and if I zoom in a little bit more, you can see that we have a lot of owners around $187. We have more owners around $143. We have some owners around $95, $95, $96. Okay, so if this thing does run all the way up to around $250 before it drops on bad earnings, possibly bad earnings, this could be a fantastic play. So just keep Netflix on your watch list and let's see what happens. All right. And that is the end of the video. If you found value, please smash that like button and consider subscribing. Here's wishing you a prosperous week of trading. And until next week, talk to you later.